All right. I just got off of the most epic talk, and I am just blown away by what has just happened in my life. Like, seriously, if you talked to me back in even 2018 and you said to me, Carly, you're going to find out that your entire team, your volunteer team of moms are going to abandon you. You're going to find out that your partner is going to leave you. You're going to have your house burned down. And then you're also going to be on stage making a speech in front of 100 people that are making their own way in business. And you're going to be going on live every single week inside of a Facebook group targeted at moms who want to transform their lives in birth. And you're going to just go live on your Facebook. And at some point, you're also going to get invited by a very high level, prestigious coach who is incredibly successful, and he's just amazing and powerful and influential. And he's worked with people like Chet Holmes and Tony Robbins. And he's going to have you speak on his Zoom call, and you're going to end up having your video on YouTube from him. I would have said, are you insane? There is absolutely no way any of that is going to happen. First of all, I'm terrified of getting on stage, and I'm terrified of speaking in public. Like, the only reason I hired my friends to work with this for Improving Birth with me is so that they can do some of the talking and I can hide and just work on my writing. Like, no, I'm not that person. I'm not the speaker. I'm not in that realm. There's just no way. I can't be visible. And there's no way that all that bad stuff is going to happen to me and then all that good stuff. No, if all that bad stuff happens to me, it's over. My life is over. If my partner leaves me and if my house burns down, those are my two biggest fears. I would never be a single mom. I would cling. I would fight. No, because see, the thing is, it did all happen, and it's incredible. But I've noticed that there is always a hero's journey. And there's a book I'm reading again right now. I think I'm going to go through it. It's called Women Who Run with the Wolves. And I had been introduced to that book by my mom back when I was, I think, 18. She had it in her collection. And I was reading it because I was also going to college at the time. I was really into like fairy tales. And so I was just really into the stories and the bones of stories. And there was a child's or introduction to children literature course that I wanted to take in college, where they were actually breaking apart fairy tales. So I actually understand the ins and outs workings of fairy tales. There's a whole Sleeping Beauty story that I didn't share today because it's not the same one. It's actually called Sun, Moon, and Talia. But then there's the Grimm story that we all know. But anyway, the thing is that I see these patterns, and I just have this tendency to notice these things. If you try to play a video game with me, I'm going to make you let me watch the cutscenes. If you try to skip the cutscenes, I'm going to get mad, because the whole point of me going through the level is to see those cutscenes. Is the only reason why I will continue to play a game. I don't care about the little mini achievements. I don't care about the scores. I don't care if I get a perfect score. I want the story. And you better believe that if a video game happens to have multiple different stories, I'm going to be playing that more than once to get those different endings, to get those different outcomes, because I'm curious and I want to see it all. It's just one of those things that I do. And the same thing with stories. I love to write fan fiction, not because I'm unhappy with the way things are in the show. I mean, sometimes with Vampire Diaries, I was really needing to get that outlet for Damon and Elena to just get together, because there was that anticipation. Although at the same time, I loved loved the will they, won't they, and waiting until season 4, it made it all worth it. Because the thing is that the longer you drag something out to a point, I'm going to say, to a point, and then like if it just drags on forever and there's no reward and no tiny reward, it doesn't work. This is why also with games, I've hacked the system when it comes to those freemium games. And it's like, basically, if you stop playing for a while, they will suddenly start dropping more rewards for you because they want you to keep playing and they want to hook you back in. So they've really got that down. And same with video games. One thing that kind of ticks me off now is that a lot of the new Mario games that come out for the kids, they're not the original way that I had to play, which was that if you jump off the cliff, you die. If you touch that turtle, you die. If you don't get through that maze in that castle when they have the maze and you don't get the right route in time before that timer runs out, you die. If you take your sweet time trying to jump over those platforms, you have 3 minutes to get to your destination. You die. Now there's a rewind button, which I'm guilty. I utilize that because I've already played the game. I already played it normally. I already know that I can play it normally, but I'm now playing with my kid and we want to finish the level and he wants to move on to the next thing. But I also make him, it's like, I'm not doing it for you. And yes, you can rewind, but you still have to jump that thing yourself. And you're going to keep practicing until you do it. And some of the games, it's even like, you've died too many times. Here, we're going to give you a superpower that makes you rush through the level. And I'm like, okay, that's pushing it. Now you've made it too easy. But the fact is that there's still going to be more levels. And this is true in life too. I mean, I know I'm giving the video game references and the story references, but it's all the same. I love video games for that whole idea of the next level, the story, when there's actually somewhere next to go, when you're not just leveling up to get to one boss, but you have to go and you have to beat the mini bosses, and you have to go to the castle, and then the little toad people come out and they're like, sorry, Mario, your princess is in another castle. So then you go to the next castle and there's more of those little toad guys. You saved more of those little toad guys, but your skills are building up each time. Because even in the old school Mario, if you notice, I mean, back then they didn't really have much to work with in terms of programming, but it's the same pattern. Some of these levels are exactly the same. They've copy pasted the coding, but they've added hard parts to it. They've added those little spirally flame things. They've added more bullets that shoot from the air. They've added more monsters. They've made it so that maybe you have to jump something to get to the next point, or they've made the platform a little narrower. It's still the same basic thing, but now it's a little harder. And life is the same thing. It's the same pattern. The story is the same thing. It's the same pattern. There's going to be a point where you're going along and you think this is going to be easy. I'm going to save the princess. I'm going to go to the castle. I'm going to beat the Bowser. And then what happens is Mario goes up to the castle and he beats Bowser and he's like, oh, yay, I beat the Bowser. I am going to go and I'm going to get the bag and I'm going to get the princess. The princess isn't in there. Now, what would happen if you just suddenly be like, there's no princess? There's no princess anywhere. Like, that is it. I'm done. But you know, there's 8 levels. There's at least 8 worlds. In every Mario game, there's always at least 8 worlds. And so it's like, okay, we know she's not in there. But in order to get to the next one, we have to go through this castle. You cannot skip to the end. I mean, you can with cheats and with the warps, but when you do that and you haven't actually recognized that the warps are there, because in the old Nintendo, they didn't have saves. But if you were not ready to meet that level yet, guess what? You're going to frickin' die. It's true. Every time you take that little whistle and you go off to the new world, suddenly that world is so much harder than all the other worlds. And you're like, wait a minute, I don't know what I'm doing. Or you decided to jump the bricks and you went all the way to the very last pipe. And it's like, ooh, world number 4. Oh, now I'm going to go to the next warp. Oh, now I'm at world number 8. I am so rocking this. And then you die in the first 5 seconds because you did not take the time to go through the other levels. As I said, the warps were there in the beginning of all these games because there was only so much time that you could have on the video game, and Nintendo didn't have a save feature. If you tried to stop the game, because it was only an 8-hour game or less than that, it was probably only 6 hours. I'm not sure exactly of the time, but I know that each level was about 3 minutes long. That's why you had the timer. It was about 3 minutes long. You have 3 minutes for each little level to get to. So they were very quick and easy because it had to be on the cartridge. You can't save. You can't go back. So if somebody is like trying to play this game and they can't warp to the next point and they've already beaten all those other levels and they already know and they just want to go to the end, it's going to be really annoying. It's like, I don't want to go through all these levels again because I've already done that and I already done the work. So I'm just going to beat the princess. I'm just going to go to the last level again and just play. So I'm going to warp. But if you try to skip, and this is the same thing, like get rich quick, or I'm going to win the lottery, or I'm just going to marry rich. I'm just going to have somebody else take care of me. I'm just going to have somebody else do it. I'm just going to get all the drugs in my birth and I'm just not going to experience it. Guess what? If you don't go through the initiation, if you don't go through the work, you don't get the lesson. And if you don't get the lesson, then when you get to that next level, everything falls apart. You don't know what to do. This is why people who are self-made, they know how to hold on to their money because they remember what it was like to not have any. And they remember what it was like to start to have it. And then they start to learn how to manage it and they learn how to invest it. But if you're just given a whole bunch of money or you're given everything that you want on a silver platter, it often goes away. I'm just going to say it. I've already told my children and they kind of don't like it yet, but they will understand. It's like, look, I'm building a legacy here. I'm building an empire. It's going to be generational wealth. However, there are going to be contingencies on whether you can access it. And that contingency is that you must learn the skills. I am not spoon feeding you. I am not buying you the fancy car. I am not buying you a house. I don't care if I have billions of dollars. When you are ready to start a family, I am not giving it to you. I am going to help you earn it. I will teach you the skills, but you must actually put in the work. You must show me that you can actually handle it. Because if I hand over my beautiful baby that I've built, my legacy, to the next generation, and they don't have the skills to keep it going, it's all going to crumble. You don't want that. You want your legacy to continue. So this is why I have this issue with helicopter parenting. You might have seen one of my posts I did a while back, because the way I see it is that kids are not kids forever. They are constantly going to their next level. You cannot hold their hand through the whole thing. You cannot have them have the magical P-wing or the magical invincibility or the God mode, basically the going into God mode in the video games and in the computer games. There used to be little codes that you could put in, little cheat codes that would make you invincible and have all the weapons. Well, guess what? When you get to the very last boss, but you haven't gone through every single one of those mazes and you don't actually know what you're doing, and the only reason you're playing that game is because I want to kill a bunch of monsters. When you get to the end, it was really tricky. I could not figure out how to get to that big boss. And then when I saw him, I still could not figure out how to beat him, even though I was invincible. It was just, they're just stomping on me. I'm not dying, but I've got unlimited bullets, but like, this is boring. I can't do anything. There's no challenge here because I've already beaten it. Same with Mario. When I was flying through every single level, which is what I did when I was a kid, when I finally went back to beat it, it was actually more fun to beat it without flying through it. I was like, oh, that's why I wanted to go this way. That's why I didn't want to just fly through the level or use the cloud to skip a level. You get skills that you otherwise wouldn't have. And it's the accumulation of those skills and that knowledge, that journey, that experience that really makes it rich. So I'm just going to say there's always another level. The princess is always going to be in the other castle. And before you get to that big, big dream, that big desire, you're going to have these little tiny wins. But if you're just like, oh, I saved another bunch of little toads. Yay. Oh, another castle. Oh, another disappointment. You know what? This princess is too far away. I give up. Well, then you never get the actual experience of it. If you keep saying, you know, like all these mini bosses and everything, it's not worth my time. I'm not doing anything with it. No, you're building up your skills so that you can get to the higher level, so that you can get the amazing cutscene at the end. And you can also be like, this boss was freaking hard to beat. He made me so mad. I died so many times, but then I finally beat him. And now I know how to do it. Now I can go back and I'm going to see how I can do it better. I'm going to keep going back to this game, not because it was frustrating now, but now it's a challenge. Now I can have hard mode. Now I can go in and get more of the treasures. So you can play the same thing over and over again. And you learn something new each time. It's like getting a book. You hold on to that book. You read through that book. There's a reason I have read this book twice already. I'm going to go back through it again because there were some lessons in there that I missed last time because I didn't have the experience and the knowledge. And this is true with your life. All that hard stuff that you went through, all those fears, all those challenges that you already went through, that's already in the past, you can let that stop you, or you can do the hard work, which is also kind of fun. I actually find this fun and interesting. It's going back and looking at those stories that you have about it and see if you can reframe it. See if you missed a piece before and be like, wait a minute. Actually, the reason that happened is because of this pattern that happened. And this pattern, I don't have to repeat that pattern. This is what I do with my moms all the time. When they're like, I had a C-section, I had an induction, my body doesn't work, it's broken. And I'm like, okay, let's say for an example, let's just say, fine, your body's broken. But you won't know until you actually try it this way. You won't know if it's actually broken, if you actually need a C-section. And if that's the point where you actually do realize that, yes, you needed a C-section. Yes, your body does actually require this. You can make it the most empowering, beautiful, amazing C-section. It doesn't have to be the traumatic experience you had before. And then at the same time, that's like maybe 5%. That's a could, might, possibly, maybe happen. It's not guaranteed. There are people who have gone on after having 3 cesareans to have a natural birth. In fact, here's a friend of mine who did it. Here's more examples. When you see that somebody else has already done the thing, first of all, if you go out and you watch on YouTube that somebody else has already beaten this really super hard video game, or somebody else like has had this story and it's this amazing hero's journey, suddenly you know that it's there. You know there's a dragon too. You know there's a monster. You know there's a boss. You know there's going to be some hard parts. There's going to be some there's struggles, but you have a map. So then I say to my clients, like, hey, there's going to be some struggles here. This is not going to be, I want this and I'm going to get this and it's going to be easy. No, that's not true. You are going to have moments where you're going to want to give up. You're going to have moments when you're going to think this is too hard. You're going to have moments when you think this is impossible to get. That's what I'm here for. I'm going to help you through that. You're going to also have moments where you're going to have small wins, but not quite exactly what you were expecting to get at this point. That's okay. Again, I'm here to help you with that. And I'm going to also remind you of what you're really working towards so that you don't go and minimize it and say, you know what, this is too hard. I got this far. I give up. And then you just don't go for your dream. But you know what? There's always going to be that wondering of, what if I actually went through and got it? First of all, if you don't, your story is not over. Think about it. Think about the heroes that we have. What if Spider-Man had never decided to do anything after he saw that Uncle Ben was killed by that burglar? And he just was like, you know what? That just proves that my spider powers are bad. I was in the wrong place at the wrong time, but this is not like, I'm not going to do anything with it. Or Batman or Superman, or if you go the other direction, any heroes. If Rapunzel never left her tower to go see the twinkling lights in Tangled, she never would have found out she was the lost princess. She never would have found her family. She never would have found Flynn Rider / Eugene. So again, if she had just never had that dream, if she'd been like, you know, I'm never going to see the twinkling lights. I mean, I don't even know what they are. I don't know what it is, but it's always on my birthday. But Mother Gothel says I can't do it. I'm never going to leave my tower. She says Mother knows best. I've got to give up. Or you keep going on this quest and it's just harder. And there's a dragon. It's like, you know what? There's a dragon and there's a spider and there's just, it's too hard. Let's just give Sauron his ring. Let's just give him the one ring. It's so much easier if we just give him the one ring, guys. I mean, come on. Are we really going to survive? There's like a big chance that Gollum's going to just kill us, or some big spider's going to kill us, or Saruman is going to kill us, like, or these orcs are going to kill us. Like, come on. Can we just give him the ring, go home, wait for our deaths quietly? I mean, really? We could, but we can't, because we are the heroes that this world needs, and we have to do this. If Harry Potter's like, you know what? I'm the Horcrux. I'm the last Horcrux. Voldemort has to kill me in order for him to die. You know what? Screw you, Dumbledore. Peace out. I'm out of here. No, you can have Hogwarts. I'm done. I'm done. I'm going to die anyway, so I'm done. So I'm not going to go into the forest willingly and face anything. Everybody, peace out. Bye. You can't do that, because if he does that, he knows everything is lost. You cannot stop your story before you complete your levels. You must go through those levels. You must build those skills. You must get those lessons. There is no other way around it. It comes with work. You can still work smarter, but it's going to come with work. There is no easy out. If you think it's there, it's a genie that is going to grant your wish, but then it's going to be like, be careful what you wish for, because now you're going to lose it because you don't know actually how to hold on to it. If you get the most beautiful woman in the world, but you yourself are not extraordinary, you're going to lose her. If you want to have those amazing children, but you mistreat them, they are going to leave you. It does not matter how much you cling to them, hold on to them, try to keep them small. They will eventually break free. There's a story I read to my daughter yesterday. It had a Scottish spin to it. It's called The Selkie Wife. And basically this man, he went to the shore. He saw these beautiful seal people that had shed their seal skins. They were naked. They were beautiful. And he said, I want this Selkie skin. because it would be really a fine pelt, and he took it away. And what happened is that it belongs to a beautiful blonde Selkie woman. And she said, can I have my Selkie skin? And in the tale, of course, it says, oh, he fell in love with her. But I knew right away as I was reading it to my daughter, I'm like, honey, that's not love. Because the thing is that she begged for her Selkie skin back. She's like, I need my seal skin. I need to be able to go back to the ocean where I belong with my family. And he's like, no, you're going to be my wife. You're going to stay with me. And so she cried and she was like, you know what? Like, I can't even return to the sea because you have my pelt and you won't give it back. So I'm stuck. I'm trapped. And she made the best of her situation. And it even says in the story, it's like, he never beat her. He never kept her cold. She had a good home. She was sheltered. She was loved. She was cared for. Just, it was a possessive love. It was, the second I give you back your seal skin, you're running away from me. So I'm just going to hold on to the seal skin and I'm not going to give you your freedom. If you love something, set it free. If it comes back to you, it was yours. But she knew if I go back to him ever, he would just like, I need my seal skin. Now, the thing is, he trapped her big time. In the years that he had her, she gave birth to his children. She had 6 children. Now, as a mother, this is a little hard for me because I had to really wrap my head around what was really going on. And I had to change a bit of the story because otherwise Michaela would have been absolutely horrified by the ending. But it comes to the point where her sons are grown and they're out fishing with their father, and 2 of her daughters are fully grown and they are out and they're finding the shells, the cockles on the beach. And her youngest daughter is probably about 14 or 15. So she's growing up. And this is when the mother is like, that's it. This is my chance. He's out with everybody. I can go and I need to find my seal pelt. So she asks her daughter where it is. Her daughter says, I saw Dad take it down and then he put it back up under the beam. And like, she goes and runs and she says, goodbye, my daughter. I'm leaving. And she says goodbye to her first daughter. She says goodbye to her other 2. She runs into the sea as a seal. And then she floats up against the boat where her sons are. And she basically tries to say goodbye to them, but they don't understand her because she's a seal. And that's when the husband realizes that she is a seal again. And she has got her Selkie skin and he is trying to get her back. And he throws a net at her. And she knows, it's like, oh, you're not ever going to let me go back. You're trying to capture me again. And if you capture me again, I'm sunk. So she went down into the ocean and he never saw her again. And I changed the story a little bit and I said, but she always visited her children because a mother will always be connected to her children. And in some versions of the tale, yes, I think that that's what happens. And in other ones, it doesn't. But the idea is this: you can't possess what is meant for you. It comes to you. But if you try to hold on to it and capture it and tight fist it, it's not really yours and you know it. So the thing is with fear is that when we hold on to money, when we hold on to possessions, when we hold on to people in our lives and we refuse to let them go where they need to go, we refuse to invest when we need to invest, when we recognize something in our lives isn't working and we need that help and we need to invest some money into it. And it's like, you can stay scared. You can be like, you know, there's a recession. I can't be investing right now. Or, you know, like my kids, like I can't start a business right now because I have children and like, I have to take care of them. Or I can't leave my partner, even though I know that this isn't a good fit because, well, I've built a life here. I might as well stay in it, even though it's killing me, even though it's not where I'm truly meant to be. I'm meant to be out free in the ocean. I have children. I have a life. I have a home. I've been here for so many years. Like, I'm old now. How will I get back? No, there's always that choice to do that. And the thing is, again, you just have to go. You just have to go. You've built your levels. You understand now. You understand you can't return back to that part of the beach when the old fisherman is there, because you know he's going to capture you again. You have to be smart about it. You can't go back to the castle that you were first in and expect the princess to be there. No, she's not there. You cannot go back to another level and expect it to be different. It's not going to be different. You can reframe it. You can be like, I got some skills here. I have some knowledge that I can take to this new castle. I've now recognized that this old level that's super easy to play is kind of similar to this really hard level. So now I have the steps and there's just this extra step that I have to take. Okay, I can do this. But you have to go to that next level. You cannot go back to level 1 and expect to get the princess in level 8. It does not work. You must go to level 8. You must play level 8, but you must first play levels 1 through 7 to get to level 8, or it's just going to be too hard. You're not going to have the skills. You're going to fall apart. You're going to scream at the TV. You're going to throw your controller, and you're going to have a tantrum like my brother did when he was 10 years old. That's just the way it is. And so you really have to do those levels. All right. So that's what I want to leave you with. I have so much more, but I really want to read my book now. And I only have so much time before my kids get home. And they are also off tomorrow. And then they're going with their dad for 2 days. And then they're coming back on Easter Monday because their dad works. So I've got 2 days off with them. And my son is a gamer and he has a headset and he is loud. So I won't be able to share my wisdom as much, but I have other things I'm going to be working on that I'm excited about. And I will talk to you soon. All right. Bye.